Oh dear, hello, welcome back. I'm back on this Shelley Duvall thing. Um, you see all these tabs up here? This is all stuff that links in with this, and that's only the tip of the iceberg. So it's just like some of this will be a stretch for some people, some of it will make sense. Um, I'm going to start off probably with a bit of a stretch, but I need to explain a few things before I get going. So the caveat, or the sort of precursor thing to this video, is to explain the fact that we've got a date coming up, which is one of the top contender dates in the dollar bill for the Hoover Dam, which is 187. It's the 18th of July coming up, right? So that's important to note. We also want to note that 4/9 is another one of those. The 4th of September is another one of those dates which is super duper important in the dollar bill, and then there's a couple other ones as well. Off the top of my head, the other one that really springs to mind as a potential, front runner as well is the 10th of November. That's another big fold in the dollar bill. So there's and that's these are the kind of main numbers, and then there's a whole bunch of little numbers as well that kind of tie in with these numbers, but those are the kind of main folds that are really significant in the dollar bill. Anyway, with that being said, 187 is coming up, right? So it's super duper important, and I guess really I should have, maybe we ought to go to the dollar bill before we start this and just run through it without having a whole bunch of stuff up. I can probably just run through it really, really quickly. Let me show you. When you look at the dollar bill, right, what we have is leaves and berries on the dollar bill. I'm sorry for old people that have been watching the channel for ages. I will probably go back through this fold again here very shortly on the run up to the 18th, just so I can demonstrate how it works basically. But before I get too far into this as well, I just want to note one thing. We're on the 12th of July today, right? That number there, because I know I'm going to forget this if I don't say it now. That number there is the twin date for Madonna's 622 number. If you've been watching my stuff, you'll know that I was looking at a number jump with the 24,042 day number jump with Madonna, and I was also looking at one with Billy Idol, which was 25,052. And then when we looked at the midpoint between, difficult to explain very quickly, but when we looked at the midpoint between the two dates that came out of that, with Madonna and Billy Idol, 622 came out, right? And 622, if I'm remembering correctly, is the twin date for today. So that is that's kind of pretty interesting. And I'll tell you why it's interesting. Because if you look in the calendar, I'm getting off track already. If you look in the calendar, okay, I've probably lost a bunch of people, but if we look at the 187 number really quickly, this year 187 is falling on the 200th day of the year, right? 166 remaining. Let's go to the other side of that, and you'll be like, oh, blooming hell, Dan, this is unbelievable already. It's Donald Trump's birthday is the twin date for that 187 number this year. So this is really quite ominous, to say the least, because of the tie-ins with Donald Trump, Billy Idol, and Madonna. It's absolutely mental, actually, all of this stuff. And I'm on overload with connections right now. So I know I'm going to miss a whole bunch of stuff out of there. So we know that the 187 number this year, the murder, death, kill number, because we'll get onto that here in a minute, is pairing up with Donald Trump's number, and also today is that Madonna, Billy Idol twin date number, which I had sort of thought about. Oh, that could be an interesting day for one of them or both of them to croak, you know. So anyway, I'm going to be watching tomorrow as well, or well, later on today, should I say. Anyway, let's get back to what the hell was I even talking about now? I can't remember now. Lost my train of thought. I was going to show you the. So this, anyway, well, what the hell was I talking about? Shelley Duvall. Okay. The first thing is with the death date, right? If we go to the chart of Lorraine with the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse right here, because this is going to be important. You have to take some of this information in, especially if you're new. The Mickey Mouse Clubhouse right here. Shelley Duvall's death date right here is tying in to this whole number right here that's at the top of this thing. Yeah. And Mickey Mouse is pretty important with this whole thing. And I'm getting ahead of myself here, but I want people to understand though that, you know, 7/11 really, you know, it's super duper important right here with this stuff with Pluto and Mickey Mouse, right? And obviously, if you look at this number here, it's, you know, 187's in here, right? I also want to show you something else that's pretty interesting about that ties to 7/11. Because if you start a number sequence on 7 with 7/11, if you start an actual, you know, one of these sequences with 7/11, basically what you're doing is you're just starting right here at 7 and carrying on, right? So I don't know if that makes much sense, but Fibonacci, all these sequences can be started with whatever two numbers you want to start with, okay? And from there on out, it will project some more numbers. Well, if we do this as the starting point here, so this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over here, okay, what we'll see now is that, you know, what we've got is we've basically got 7 and 11 kind of combining here, you know, with this new start point as opposed to the normal start point. And then when we look down at our number that we have in the table for basically what would now be 7, 7 here as a cross reference. I know this is kind of complicated, but when we look down, this number here is 199. Normally, on a normal year, the 18th of July is normally the 199th day of the year. So this thing with Shelley Duvall is pretty interesting with the 7/11 because of how it kind of ties back in with, you know, 187 via this and via the fact that the bloody number's right here as well. So there's quite a few little bits and bobs like this to do with this number actually. So while I'm on the topic of, I'm going to come on to this later, but while I'm on the topic of the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and Mickey Mouse's sort of the Mickey Mouse symbolism, I just want to show you Mickey Mouse, right? You know, if you can see what we have is this is Mickey Mouse's head right here. So whenever you see that symbolism, you know, be thinking these numbers. And again, I've explained why, you know, Mickey Mouse's birthday is 11/18, and when I was doing all my Pluto stuff, turns out, at least the way I was doing it, that the 17th of November, 11/17, to do with Pluto. Yeah, Pluto is Mickey Mouse's dog. That's a balance point in the two different orbital cycles of Pluto. Okay, so the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse thing going on here is pretty nuts. One other thing that I want to show you as well before, because Dan, why we get going on about the 187 all of a sudden, I haven't even really explained, is because in The Shining we have this reference, this famous reference to murder, and of course 187 is the murder code, right? And it's the red rum reference. If you watch Who's That Girl, red rum is spray painted on the grill, not on the grill, on the side of the Rolls Royce that has the Diana, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, Temple, Clock Tower, all those things, So again, with the 1004 actually in the clock tower, while I'm here, let me just explain about this for just a second. Let's put some hands in, okay? So let's do 10 o'clock, maybe, somewhere right there, yeah? And then let's do a very rough 4 minutes past 10, okay, 10:04. I just want to, I'm just kind of trying to point out the fact that 10:04, the hands are kind of pointing off to these numbers here, the 187 as well, with the reference to 10:04. And again with 10:04, I think in that Austin Powers decode, I was talking about the 157 that's in the car that blows up. Again, blimey hell, Dan. The 157 here and this number all to do with completion here, we have a total here again which relates back to the clock tower, okay? So this relates back to this, and this total is, the total is all these numbers added up here, right here, yeah? So this is really important, especially with the pi, and especially with that scene where the car does blow up, because again, what am I trying to say? Michael Caine happens to be a pi birthday again as well. Okay, so again, all this stuff is really tying together. In fact, again with the reference with Shelley Duvall dying on this day, we had with Donald Trump a big, I think it was a big 18 reference, and I think it was on the 11th as well. I think I watched a Jungle Surfer. Thank you, Jungle Surfer, for this one. But I think I watched him, and he was talking about Baron Trump showing up with Donald, yeah, Mini-Me and Dr. Evil himself. Those two showing up at for a rally, and again, Donald Trump's 81, and Baron is 18. At least that's what Jungle Surfer was pointed out. So this double 18 thing, this is going to be interesting later on in here as well. There's a couple more, the 818 references. So, but it's just kind of interesting on the same day as Shelley dying, the Donald Trump thing occurring, with the reference to the son, yeah, being with Donald, like the idea of the birth there, and again, the son appearing, should I say, just like at the birth. We have this 18 reference as well. Pretty darn interesting, considering that the 187 date is the twin date for Donald Trump's birthday this year. So this is super fascinating stuff, really. One other thing I just mentioned, 100 days on from 4/9, okay, is this thing as well, is the 187. So there's this 100 day in there as well, which is really important with Benjamin Franklin and this kind of connection. Well, I don't know this connection to lightning, coming down. and the 100 days, and the numerology of obviously the $100 bill, the $10 bill, and the $1 bill being the same. Yeah. Obviously Benjamin Franklin shows up in a ton of places as well. So, blimmin' hell, where am I going with this? So this 187, this murder number that is in The Shining. Now, why is The Shining so important even? So why, this reference with Shelley is so important is, number one, she's playing a character in the film. We've got, she's playing the character of Wendy Torrance, right? Jack Torrance's wife. And if we think about the word Torrance, okay, and we think about what a torrent is, I might actually have, I'm pretty sure I had this up so I could show you guys. The meaning of torrent, yeah, as we can see, flood, deluge, inundation, So this whole idea with torrent and torrents and the idea of the flood is pretty important. And, I've talked about The Shining before. The idea of the Colorado River, the Red River, flowing again, and the elevator scene in The Shining with the river of blood that just happens to probably have a body in it, a torso, a male, it looks like a torso anyway. There are certain places you can, Collative Learning is a good one to go and watch that on. But the idea of this rebirth, the idea of the flow of blood, obviously with the birth, and also with the reset of the cycle. Think of the menstrual cycle, think of that thing resetting, and there's a flushing of blood at that point. Yeah, a restart, everything's fresh again. Okay, so important stuff there, but obviously the river that is red, the Colorado River, the Red River, breaking free again from the Hoover Dam, from the constraints of the matrix there of Lake that's turned into, well, it's Lake Mead basically. So let me show you something. This will help you to understand this idea of the elevator and why it's so important with. So we've got a picture of the elevator here somewhere. Where the hell is it? This is, I mean, we're going to be all over the place with this one. I'm sorry. Oh, there it was. I want to show you the elevator in the film. Okay, and down here somewhere there is a body. You have to go and kind of, I would recommend going to Collative Learning and looking at the video on it. It'll be listed there somewhere. But let's look at the numbers on the actual elevator, right? And we've got 1 and 2, 12. Just recently came up. And I still can't remember the name of the the channel. I think it was whatever that is. Oh, I can't even remember how to pronounce it now. I've tried to figure out how to pronounce it and I can't remember. OOANOA or whatever the hell it is. I'm sorry, but I can't remember. But anyway, they've done a video on this 120-degree temperature in Vegas. Again with the 120 or the 12, the 2001, and then reversed back to the 12 o'clock hour, the midnight hour, Billy Idol stuff. It's just, Anyway, we've got the elevator set up here. Notice it's a double elevator. Notice that the actual doors form 1 pillar, 2 pillars, 3 pillars, 4 pillars, and then of course the 5th element pillar in the center of the temple. Okay. What I want to do is I want to, say, this reference here with the Colorado River breaking free of the Hoover Dam. This reference to the elevator is pretty important with the Hoover Dam, because if we go to the actual Hoover Dam, I mean, I don't know how many flipping dams have. This is this is the Hoover Dam elevator. How many dams have an elevator, with a gold door at the top, on the top of the dam? I mean, that's not a normal thing, is it? So this elevator on the Hoover Dam here, super duper important. And if you recall the film Fools Rush In with Salma Hayek and Matthew Perry, I believe this is the scene anyway where she's given birth on the dam. Yeah. So this is again tying back to The Shining, or The Shining's tying back to this, whichever way around you want to do it. But this is man being born here, mankind being reborn at the base of the elevator here, or the top of the elevator, whatever you want to call it, but the doorway to the elevator, and on top of the Hoover Dam. Yeah. So the Red River flowing through the dam, and the river, just the connection here with the elevator. Hopefully you're seeing what I'm seeing here. So super duper important with that reference with The Shining. And the location of the Shining being, kind of at the source of, the Colorado. It's all interesting stuff, and it's all well thought about. Well thought about stuff. In fact, what was funny was I'd been discussing with Sandra in the comments about she had mentioned 7/22 being, a Pi Day, and I'd said, oh, I have been looking at that date, and also the day after that is, room 237, from The Shining sort of thing, again, all possible dates for Madonna, but it just fascinating stuff. In fact, go back to the last video, and the comments are there for that in that last video. But it was just funny how, after we've been discussing that, directly tying back to the Shining, and then this comes into my sort of vision. So it's pretty interesting just the way things happen. Anyway, what else have I got to say about this? Not a lot. Torrent, we've done that. I think I want to do is just click through these now and kind of just talk about them, because quite honestly, I need to really go back to the dollar bill and explain this, the date in the dollar bill, and we'll get there here in a minute. Let's just see if there's anything else interesting really quickly. I will say about Jack Nicholson in Mars Attacks as well, playing the kind of Trump character in that as well, the president come casino dude. So this is, again, I mean, I don't know. Was there anything? Oh, it was interesting with the premiere minute runtime, which was 1:46. Again, back to Trump. What else did I have in here? There was, I think we'll leave, Danny in it. Danny Lloyd as Danny. Interesting with the Lloyd, with Doc and Christopher Lloyd as well. I just, the connections, they're just interesting. So let's go to, I guess, no, I don't want to go on to that yet. And that's going to tie us back into the, boy, I'm just trying to think which way to go with this. Let's carry on with, hang on a minute, let's just carry on with, you'll understand why I'm having trouble with the amount of information I got here. Let's carry on with Shelley Duvall, because with that name, I immediately, because I've been looking at the 187 number here and the date coming up, I've also been kind of thinking about Demolition Man, because in Demolition Man they make a big deal about the 187, the murder, death, kill number. There's a scene in there that is kind of nuts, basically, with the murder, death, kill thing. In fact, I've got it up here, okay, where they might actually play just a touch of this. Come on.
Identify code 187.
Yeah, identify code 187. And
MDK.
MDK.
Murder, death, kill, murder.
And then they go, murder, death, kill, murder, death, kill. And they keep, they have a whole bunch of these because Wesley's going around killing everybody. Now, so I've been thinking about this film, and the name Shelley Duvall, immediately, obviously, Shell, and I'm thinking of the connection with the 3 seashells in replacement for toilet paper within this film. They make a big deal about that as well in the film. And so Shelley Duvall, the name for me, it really speaks to the idea of the clamshell, okay? Because Duvall means valley, and if you think about what we're talking about here with the Matrix and going into the metaphysical, going into the valley, that thing closes up like a Venus flytrap. Yeah, the 2 sides come in, and you have this sort of clamshell shutting up. Okay. Also, I believe the clamshell. There's also a slight reference there with the shape of a certain clamshell and like the vulva, the female parts. So there's this reference to the opening of the first step into the womb. Okay, with the shape of that thing. And the Venus flytrap is similar as well, with the idea that this clamshell mechanism, you drop down into the valley, and it shuts on you, and then you're trapped. Okay. The key is maybe to leave the valley open, and you don't admire the pearl, but don't get consumed by it. Anyway, where am I going? So Duvall, for some reason, like two, and then the valley and the Shelley, the shell, just makes me immediately I thought of Demolition Man, and that the whole thing with the 3 seashells. Now let me explain the 3 seashells, right? Because the 3 seashells, let me show you, is this thing. I'm pretty sure this is what they're referencing in the film. They're referencing the bathroom, they're referencing the crapper, and the 3 seashells to do with that is the Spencer coat of arms. Princess Diana's family coat of arms has the 3 seashells on it. Okay, so there's this reference back to Diana, Princess Diana. Don't forget that the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse is the Temple of Diana. It's the Temple of Athena. It's all the same bloody thing. It's the temple. Okay. So this is it's super duper important, right? That they're making an effort to. I mean, this film came out in '93 as well, I think, if I'm recalling correctly. So this is way before the death of Diana. Okay. And then we have this reference to murder, death, kill. Yeah, murder, death, kill. And a lot of people think that Diana was murdered. Maybe she's still alive on the island, or maybe it just happened like they said it happened. Who the hell knows? But regardless of that, the murder, death, kill. If we go to, I've got this written down in here. But if we go to murder, death, kill, right, and we just look at it normally. Let's just look at it normally. Oh no, what have I done here? I didn't want that. Just want it in the order. Right. If we look at the numbers, the numbers for the letters normally, right? 13, 4, and 11. If we look at the reduction now, if we just reduce these down, 442. 442 is pretty interesting because 442, again, that ties back with Jack Nicholson. His birthday is the inverse of that. Okay, which is, it's important to understand what's going on in The Shining as well. For those of you that haven't seen it, I don't really want to give it away, so kind of spoiler alert, but you've got the film. There's a point in the film basically where you're entering into a fictional world. Don't forget he's writing a novel, and at some point there we enter into Jack's actual novel. And so this idea with the reflective inverse nature of this number here now, with the murder, death, kill here, which will become apparent here in a second, and Jack Nicholson's birthday, is very interesting, because when we've got this in, they use the MDK, right? And then when we look at the actual, oh, bloody hell, why don't I have that up here now? If we look at, no, let's just write it in. Sorry, this will be slow. Hang on. Death and kill. If we look at those numbers there now, okay. Oh, it was there. Oh, I guess I had to click on it again or something. Murder, death, kill. 161, which is really important with Madonna and the golden ratio. That is the 161 is the start of the golden ratio, and then that ties directly into Madonna 161818. Sorry. So this is pretty important as well with Madonna. But then let's look at the reverse of murder, death, kill. Okay, and it's 244. The same as if we look at the 244 in reverse here with murder, death, kill, with just the sort of initials. Okay, I think that's kind of interesting, and the reason why it's kind of interesting with this reference back with with Diana. Okay, I mean the reason why it's interesting is, let's go to Diana's death date. Diana's death date for a leap year, it is on the 244th day of the year. So this film that is back in '93 has this reference to the death of Diana, okay, maybe on 8/31, maybe on the 244th day of the year. Obviously that doesn't work. I don't know, what was that, 97? That wouldn't have been a leap year, so when she died. But what would I say it's interesting about it is that this year, I don't know, this year's an important year, I think. I don't know. Okay, so it's just interesting the way that's tying together. So not only would it predict Diana's death, but it also ties back to a leap year, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so that's really interesting. We've got a film that's pre-Diana's death, maybe having something to do with the idea of Diana's death. At least it references Diana, and then it has this interesting murder, death, kill thing as well. And so, you know, this 187, the murder, the red rum that is going on here. Yeah, boy, I don't know. It's just super interesting. I guess if we go into the actual, talk about the film just for a second, you know, these two are sort of playing the twins, and this is what John Spartan has to do. We've got Simon Phoenix. Again, if you look at the back of the dollar bill, which is quite interesting, because you'll know, how the hell, what the hell's going on here? Why haven't I got no... Hang on a minute, let's just press back. For some reason everything's messed up here. This computer is having some severe issues. Let's go to the other side of it. I just want to point out, you know, this is Vegas with the Luxor, so Nevada, and then this is Arizona, Phoenix, you know, the Phoenix Rising, so Arizona, and in between is the Hoover Dam, right? Note the kind of clamshelly feel to these things here. Again, you know, I just, the shell feel, and then again with Phoenix mentioned, you know, Madonna's song Borderline. Okay, I'm going to lose my voice by the end of this, I reckon. Anyway, of course I keep losing my train of thought here with this stuff. So these two are doing the sort of twinism thing with the black and the white and all the rest of it, and the good and the evil. And you know, John Spartan, John again, um, just such an interesting name anyway. But anyway, and Spartan makes me think of Greece, which will tie into Greece here in a minute. What am I trying to say? Bloody hell, Spartan. He's the guy that's got to liberate everybody from the from the underworld. Okay, there's a certain element. The whole thing's really the underworld, but there's the people that live in the sewers that understand what the Matrix is, the reality of it, and then there's the people above ground who live in the lie and are complete zombies and don't understand any, don't realize, the what they're living in, the fictional world that they're living in. So this is the dude that's got to liberate them, and again with the plumbing reference, it's always with the plumbing, or the drainage system or the sewer or the toilet, that's always the symbolism here with the Matrix, right? What's interesting is I just looked through a couple of these names through here, and Edgar Friendly, who is the character that's played by Dennis Leary, which is very, very interesting because, of course, Edgar, there's only really a few names that go with Edgar, and Hoover happens to be one of them, J. Edgar Hoover. Okay, so this is pretty interesting. In fact, what's really interesting about this now, I'm going to get off topic again here, but it's not really off topic, but it's, is that J. Edgar Hoover's birthday, which is the 1st of January, happens to be Mini-Me's Vern Troyer's birthday as well. 1-1 again, the 1st of January. Which is quite interesting because Dennis Leary's birthday is 818, with like this reference with the Donald Trump thing with Baron Trump, Mini-Me being at the Donald Trump thing, right? At the father and son together, Mini-Me and Big Me, and what's fascinating about this is they're referencing 81 and 18, and Dennis Leary's birthday 818, and Edgar and Mini-Me, and it just Edgar and Vern's birthdays. I don't. Dan, you're reading too much into this stuff, dude. Anyway, I also was going down here, and of course, Adams always stand out, and Jesse Ventura is playing Adam in this. Okay, Jesse Ventura, right? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, because this is where what I was saying earlier will make a little bit more sense. But Jesse, Dear Jesse, this blimmin' Madonna song with the, hang on a minute, Dear Jesse, yeah, with the Mickey Mouse ears on, with the kind of the triangular symbolism in the background here, or pyramid symbolism in the background, or if you like the temple, whatever it is, but it kind of kind of matches up with the idea of the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse or the Diana Temple here, and the Mickey Mouse ears with the 187 reference here with the Mickey Mouse ears. So it's just mental. Side B, Till Death Do Us Part. And look at the 124, 42, all that stuff with Madonna's. I've been thinking about that Madonna number jump with the palindromic number there. So Dear Jesse, which is, boy, I'm going to take on another little trip here, but Jesse Ventura as Adam. So all this tying back with the Hoover Dam and a dam. Dear Jesse, yeah. Anyway, so where do I want to go with this? Let me show you the roller girl. Let me see if I've got that roller girl. Yeah, here it is. So let me show you the roller girl, Dear Jesse thing. way back when I showed you this cover of Madonna's Dear Jessie by Roller Girl, and just out of interest, the length of that is 401, like the clock tower pointing to 718. Okay, 187. Sorry, or well, 718 as it is there. So this is kind of interesting in its own right. I think what I'll do is I will show you a little connection here. But I was saying, oh, Spartan makes me think of Greece, and all that stuff going on there over there with all the Greek wars and everything. So this direct thought of Greece with Sylvester Stallone, I straight away think of Grease, the film, okay, with John Travolta in it and Olivia Newton-John. And the reason why is because I know that Olivia Newton-John, apart from she's got the interesting 8/8 death date, the 8th of August, right? Apart from that date itself, the numbers of that date tie in with, Madonna stuff. It ties heavily in with, and I might go to this in just a second instead of just talking about it, but it heavily ties into Madonna stuff and Who's That Girl as well. Because we have the same numerology with her birthday, which is the 26th of September. And when we jump back to Who's That Girl, the song by Madonna, I want to say it's the release date of that song is the 29th of June. So it's a sort of inverse number there. But the reason why that's so important, I might as well just take you to the table and then I can actually show you. Was I done with showing you stuff in here? I can't really remember. We might have to come back to that. Hang on a minute. Let me show you this, because I can show you this all about Olivia Newton-John now and how this bloody ties in with Trump and with just this little hints all over the place. So where am I going? Okay, let's put this line in here. This is a Madonna cross that's in here, right? So what we've got is actually I need to do this in sections. Hang on. Let's do the first part. Let's just, as I'll talk as I go over it, right? So this is Madonna's birthday, 168, right? And then here's Matthew Perry's, okay, which is what the inversion of Madonna's birthday is, okay. And then across from that is where we have this 296, okay. So 296, this is the number that's used in Who's That Girl, okay, the release date. But these numbers here are the same numbers in Olivia Newton-John's birthday, okay. And then if we look here with the death of Olivia Newton-John, which is I think it's the 221st day of the year, and it's 145 days left, okay. Obviously, I'd been looking at a lot of 122 references with Madonna, and so with this tie-in here with Olivia Newton-John was pretty interesting. And this is the rest of the Madonna stuff here with the 624, the ICU, and then the Queen's birthday here, 421. Obviously, the Queen of Pop tying in with the Queen of BS, the Queen Elizabeth. There's also a nice 187 that crosses this whole number line as well, right here. And obviously Madonna with Sean Penn's birthday, first husband. That is the he is the 17th of August. Okay, so this is all sort of, it all kind of gels together with references backwards and forwards. So anyway, let's go down to the bottom of the table now, and I'll show you a little bit more to do with this. This becomes more interesting than this. Okay, so let's go down to the bottom of the table. I have to explain what I've got going on. So we're thinking about a couple of things here, and I'm trying to think which song that shows up in. It might be Who's That Girl that's 3 minutes 58 long. I can't remember. It's definitely one of the pertinent Madonna songs that's 3:58. But what we've got going on I'll get onto this 3:58 in just a second. What we've got going on is we've got the actual first 24 numbers of actual pi down the bottom of here, and we've got the first 24 numbers of phi, okay, which is derived from the golden ratio, yeah, 1.618, yada yada yada. So that's phi, and that is pi. So it gets a little confusing. And then what I've got right here is Fibonacci. This is the Fibonacci sequence, and you can see where it starts, which is right here, the 112, and there's your 911, which is the beginning and the end of that cycle. This is the reduced format of the first 24 digits, which is 24 digits that repeat over and over again of Fibonacci. If you reduce those first 24 numbers of Fibonacci down to a single digit, those first 24 numbers repeat over and over again in the cycle. Okay, this is what's super duper important about 911, is it's the beginning and end of that cycle. Okay, if we align the numbers of pi and the numbers of the Fibonacci sequence together, so we're just aligning these two sets of numbers right here because they match. So in these cycles there are certain, little double numbers and triple numbers that match. We can align those numbers, and we can see what else matches up, so to speak. So if we align the 358, which is normally Christmas Eve, so this is really important again with the metaphysical, and the precursor to the birth, what we can see is that what lines up with 9/11, okay, is this bloody Olivia Newton-John's birthday, 9/26. Okay, so obviously we know that Olivia Newton-John obviously is pretty important. And then if we look over here at the eclipse date, and I'll go to the roller girl thing because this kind of explains why if we look, so with the eclipse, okay, and then we can see her death date, which is right next, which is again kind of mirrored with 8/8. So we've got her death date 8/8, which is mirroring the 8/4. Now, I guess without actually going to the roller girl video and having to dig through it and show you this, if you recall, I did a video on it, and you can go and find the video, Roller Girl Dear Jessie. They've taken the time to add in a lot of, and this would have been, I'm pretty sure this as well, this video is pre Olivia Newton-John's death date, because she was in 22, and I think Roller Girl, that thing is way back. I don't know what year it was, but it's way, we can probably look on the thing here in a second, but it's way back before this. If we look at the video, right, get to the point, Dan. If we look at the video, they have the eclipse symbolism in the video right as the roller girl falls over. Yeah, she's on roller skates and she falls over. Right at this point, we've got the big 8 in the background, but it's also a reference to the eclipse that we've just had, yeah, on 8/4. So we know that in that, we've got the fall of the roller girl in that video, which is Dear Jessie, and again, this 8/8 is, kind of the twin thing going on here. What do I say about it other than that's the death of Olivia Newton-John tied into all of this, and in the role, and what I've missed the important part out. What is so important about the reference to Olivia Newton-John and Roller Girl? Well, if you recall, which you might not recall, but there is a film called Xanadu. They're all on bloody roller skates in the film. There's a lot of ELO music in the film, so there's some quite good songs in it. I think it was a bit of a flop at the time, actually, but the whole idea of Xanadu, and the whole idea of Xanadu is the Matrix, and actually, if you look at the theatre where they do the nightclub, there's actually some Hoover Dam symbolism there with the Art Deco and the four towers that are in the imagery there for the whole thing. But Roller Girl is Olivia Newton-John in that film, okay? And she's having a fall. So this Dear Jessie has the death of Roller Girl, Olivia Newton-John in it, predicted with the 8-8. And then again, the other thing that we can do as well is we can then, let me show you this bottom part as well for Madonna. We can actually go down, because I was talking about this the other day with the 204. Let me show you something real quick. If we align the 88 that is in the golden ratio, this is the golden ratio down the bottom, golden ratio phi down the bottom of here, okay? It's just I've aligned the 88 now, so this is in order above here with the 161, which, did I already talk about that? Yeah, I did kind of mention it, but there's the 161. I think that was, I can't remember what that was with the gematria there. We'll go back to it. We'll probably come back across it here in a minute. I can't remember. Anyway, the 161, which is super duper important, because if we align the 88 now with this other 88 in Fibonacci, so we're aligning 88 and we've got 82 aligning with it. That's another number again with Madonna, which is, I don't know what to say. That's in Ghost Town, that reference with 2882. Obviously, there's more connotations to that. But again, the start of this whole thing, when we've aligned that 88, is now, the beginning of it is 948, which happens to correspond with this other sequence right here, yeah, with the 4894 reference at the center of this table right here, yeah. Notice also where Madonna shoots through, where Madonna's big cross shoots through this line is again pi, okay. So that's pretty important. And also remember the spy secret agent stuff with Pierce Brosnan here as well, okay, because that's pretty important as well at the start of this thing. What else we got going on? Gosh, I don't know. But anyway, let's get back to this a second. So what I wanted to show you was that, number one, Madonna's birthday, coincides with this matchup. So this idea of having, Olivia Newton-John's stuff, Olivia Newton-John's kind of alignment with Fibonacci here, kind of tying also in with Madonna. So this is kind of important. And again, here's the 204. Okay, the 204. Okay, and I just talked about that in that other video, I think, with the day of the year. We can go back to the calendar now. Take a quick look at 204, which is this 22nd of July, which Sandra pointed out is also it's one of some kind of feast to do with, or it's a date to do with Mary Magdalene, okay. And then we have the room 237 next, which of course the history of Mary Magdalene and the idea of the the corruption of the Matrix, the divine turning into the whore, and Mary Magdalene as well, and this date here with room 237, where Jack goes in to the room, and in the bathroom there he sees the very desirable version of the naked woman that's hot. He sees the very the desirable version of the Matrix, of the metaphysical, and then what happens is that when he gets with that thing and indulges with it, it turns into the whore. Okay, it's the old crony. So, there we go. There's the 161 at the start at the start of Phi. So I'm kind of all over the place with, you can see why, like when you look at this stuff now, the more you look at it and the more numbers you sort of kind of have whizzing around in your head, and the more little connections you keep thinking about, the more difficult it is to come up with an actual fixed date for this thing. I mean, for the Hoover Dam, for the death of Madonna, that would represent, this idea of coming out of the Matrix, and for something to do with Billy Idol, or Trump or whatever. I mean, just look at this as well. Here's again 164 is just the 20th. We're just coming up, and now we're into moon landing dates here as well right now. So it's just absolutely. I mean, you go around, you just be around in circles, and there's the reference to the moon landings with Danny's shirt in The Shining as well. I think it's his shirt. He's got the Apollo whatever 11 shirt on, isn't it? So it's just I don't know what to say apart from it's all kind of crazy, really. And while I'm doing this, we haven't had any rain changes, and it's raining. It's kind of interesting as well. Was there anything else I wanted to say about Demolition Man? No, this 187 thing, and other characters spring to mind with the 187, like Snoop Dogg with Murder Was the Case and the 187, and he ties in with 213 as well, which I'm going to explain to you in the dollar bill here in just 1 second. So, this is all interesting. It's just all interesting connections, If you don't, I need to explain it, but Snoop Dogg has the death day, the birthday of the death date of Herbert Hoover, which is 10/20, which is again the same as Kamala's birthday, 10/20 as well. So this all ties into Hoover, it all ties into the Hoover. And maybe we'll see something with her taking over, and then I keep trying to play out the ideas of how the timeline and how things would pan out, and what has to happen. Let me just show you something else which is really interesting, right? To do with gosh, I want to go to do with hang on, before I get off the Olivia Newton-John thing, let me tie that in with, so the death of Olivia Newton-John, on that particular day, the same year, is the day that they raided Donald Trump's home. So this is very interesting with the idea of the death of the death of the metaphysical representation with the death of the goddess there with Olivia Newton-John, right? And then the invasion, of a corrupt power, for the FBI, of a corrupt power into one's home, yeah? So it was Mar-a-Lago as well, whatever the hell that place is called, with the Mary, in the name of the place. So this is it's really fascinating with the idea of the home being raided at the same time as the goddess dies. Yeah, and I'll show you something that's really interesting about that raid. That again ties back to the Hoover Dam. It's just these little references. And where the hell have I got all that bloody lot? I'm sorry, this is a bit painful having to jump backwards and forwards, but there's just so much. I know I'm forgetting a bunch of stuff as well. Ding, dang, 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 dang. Here it is. So, oh, and with J. Edgar as well. That connection with J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI. Obviously, if you think of FBI, that's probably the first name that springs to mind with FBI. For me, at least, it is. Is J. Edgar Hoover. And so that idea of the corrupt power invading one's home, and that the connection with the corrupt power with the Hoover Dam and the Matrix, they just can't write this stuff. Anyway, for some reason I don't have. There it is. So here we are. Here's the Mar-a-Lago stuff that they seized. Oh look, 2A, 2/1, 12, the midnight hour. Again, 2001. And these are the secret documents that they seized for whatever reason. It's all BS theatre. But anyway, what was interesting is I saw this box of time covers that are framed. And this first one, I'm like, I gotta go look that up because it looks like it says knock knock there. It's the old knock knock reference, with knock knock, who's there, with the Hoover. And that's what it is, And what's interesting about the whole thing is we've got Trump on one side on the throne, and then everybody else, there's the glass window, yeah? There's the metaphysical side and the real side. So pretty interesting. We've even got Philip Elliott on here by Philip Elliott, and I can't read the other one, like it says Molly. I want to say that might say either Hall or Ball. But that's really interesting. Philip Elliott. But knock knock, who's there? The Hoover Dam. Okay, very, very, very interesting indeed. What else do I want to say about that? Not a lot. Just something. Where do I put that in a video? But this ties in with Roller Girl, Olivia Newton-John. Okay. Boy, oh boy, I don't know where to go from here now. I've completely lost kind of. Let's go and do the number jumps now and explain how we're going to get to this 187 with the dollar bill. It's really all upside down, this decode. Hang on. Let's just do. Let me just do two more things really quickly, right? Billy Idol, right? Let me show you something. So from 9/11 this year through, last year, sorry, through 9/11 through to this 187 date, July 18th, right, is 311 days. In a normal year, it's 310 days, but in a leap year, it's 311 days. That's the jump. That's the number jump. Cradle of Love, yeah, Cradle of Love, Billy Idol, Cradle, the baby in the cradle, the rebirth of man again. 311 Man is the title of side B of Cradle of Love. 311 Man. Absolutely flipping nuts, I think. Look at the release date for this. Yeah, the 16th of April, 164. Trump's birthday. Very, very interesting with this whole thing with Donald Trump and this idea of Trump being reborn. It's got to be something to do with Billy Idol, Madonna, or Trump, or some way it's got to relate back to one of those three characters, I think. Okay. It doesn't necessarily have to be Donald Trump on this one, because I'll show you something. Because Donald Trump has another interesting, and this might be like Let me know. I'm trying to think where I got it now. Gosh, I don't know where I've got it in here. No. Hang on. There's the 311 jump. Okay, so you can see the 911 through to 718. It's 311 days. I tell you what else is interesting about this. Let's go ahead and do something here. Let's click include the end date, and now you can see 312. Yeah, and this is, bear this in mind because I might forget about it here in a minute. But 213 is our other side of our dollar bill number jump from 911, and this just happens to be 200. Well, if you read it reverse, 213. Okay, which is the start of Luger's numbers. 312 days including the end date. 311 not including the end date, and on a normal year it's 310. Okay, it's all important numbers anyway. Hang on a minute, we don't want Troya. That's the same. Oh, that's what I was just on, wasn't it? Oh, I'll just show you this that was interesting as well. Oh, bloody hell. I'm so sorry this is all over the place. I know people go, Dan, you're schizo, mate. This is just absolutely nuts. From 9/11, 2001 to 8/18, which was Dennis Leary's birthday, 2025, just random year, is 8,742 days. Now, why is that important? Because obviously with, you know, the reference back to the film, right, and the Hoover Dam again with J. Edgar and all that stuff, right? But if we go to Madonna's birth year through to this year, 7/18 this year, 2024, check this number jump out, 24078. This is the reverse numbers here. Just an extra zero in there, but it's the reverse numbers that's jumping us into you know, those Dennis Leary numbers, which is, I mean, it's just interesting with the tie back with Diana in that whole thing, and you know, this idea too. I mean, when I was looking at Diana the other day, Diana's is another 122 date. Okay. Oh gosh, I'm all over the place with this. I really do apologise for that. So let's do. Okay, well, I need to show you this actually. I need to show you the fact that I need to show you these two 155 jumps, and I need to show you that one as well. Let's go to the dollar bill. Hang on a minute. Let's go back to the other side of it. See if this is a no. Hang on. Let's copy image. Okay, and then let's go to this, and let's do a new thing. This is crazy. What do I want to do? New. Sorry, I'm just not computer savvy at all. But here's the dollar bill, right? And I've used this to show you this stuff before, but let's just put it on a brush and let's get some red so we can see what we're doing, and a nice big, a fairly reasonable sized brush, and let's count up the leaves and berries. So the first thing we've got to note is that we've got this idea of two events that are mirroring one another. So what we're doing is we're looking at leaves and berries on one side of the dollar bill and leaves and berries on the other side of the dollar bill, right? And if we count up these leaves and berries over here, we've got two leaves at the top here, the bunny ears, okay? Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leaves, okay? Oh dear, Dan. And then we've got, it's just difficult to write with this mouse. And then we've got 4 berries tucked in here. Difficult to see, but there's 4 of them. 254, the 254th day of the year is 9/11. If we go from 9/11 now, okay, this date, and we add on, well, we need to add on some numbers to get over to this side. So what we need to do is we need to look at what's in the middle for our jump. Yeah, because we're going over the top here, over the bridge, and we're going to make a jump. What there is there's 5 leaves here, there's 5 leaves here, and there's, well, I just happened to come out right, and 1 berry here as well. So what we have is we have, well, if we're jumping this way, let's read them this way as well. So we have 155. So we're doing a 155-day jump, which takes us to this other side, and that just happens to take us to, if we count up the leaves and berries, to 1 berry here and 3 more leaves. 213. The 13th of February is where that 155-day jump takes us. Now I'm going to show you why this takes us to a 187. By the way, this dude's gematria is 187. Okay, so this is important as well, with the president being a 187. Okay, the president, Trump being a 187, the president being a 187. You can see what I was saying about the ruffles with Austin Powers as well. That makes the dam there, and when we fold it across here, that's the top of the dam with the water flowing over. Okay, this 155-day jump. We can take the 155 days, and if we jump through, it will take us to 18. In fact, what we have to do is we have to do a 300. Well, let me just show you the numbers in here, okay? Because if you add 155 to 155, we've got our 310-day jump, which would normally be on the 187. But this year, you have to add the extra day in because of the leap year, so we have to do a 311-day jump, okay? So if I'm making sense here, in a normal year, we do a 155-day jump, okay? And actually, let's just go back to this and get rid of some of this crud. So we're following now, okay? Oh, come on, get rid of that. Good. So we know this is 9/11 over here, right? And then we have to do a 155-day jump to get over to the 13th of February, which we know is a pretty interesting number, a pretty interesting date as well, especially with the Super Bowl stuff going on. So this takes us to 213, and then we need to get back, we need to finish the cycle. Well, if we do a jump back the same, it's going to take us back, to a date that is kind of, how do I say it? It's the same number jump again. So it's like a date that is a mirror date, and that mirror date comes out at, the 18th of July, the 187. So we're doing an even jump and then back, and this is the start of lupus numbers here. And then our total, including end dates now. So in a normal year, it's 310. In a leap year, we're doing 311, 311, man. And if we include end dates with this now, we are this number, which is the inverse of this number, or the reverse of that number, yeah? So this becomes very interesting. And plus we're doing in a normal year, we're doing a 155 jump, okay? And then another 155 jump, and then a 55-day jump. So we have this real cool, interesting synchronicity with these 55s and the 155s. And again, the reason why this is so important with Back to the Future, if you recall the clock tower, at the top of the clock tower, yeah, is the bloody 55 lightning strike, with the jump home. And this 55 symbolism is super important with that, and the 11 is, of course, is right here in that jump. So this is really, I don't know how, hopefully you're seeing what I'm showing you, but that is the number jump that's in the dollar bill there for the 187. It just so happens that we get, one of these, this sort of, the hidden number that you can't see in here with this number jump is 187. Okay, if we do a reverse jump from 9/11, if we go backwards and start going the opposite way, our first number jump is, what is it? It's 49. Except this is the 9th of April instead of the other way around with the other date that's encoded here with a completely different fold, okay, which is the 4th of September, okay. So this is just absolutely mental. Yeah, there's the 100-day jump from there through. Let me see, hang on a minute, let me see if I got that 49 in here, right? So there's our 155, and so if we just keep clicking down, we'll come up to, I can't remember what it was. We want to go to 311. Going the wrong way, Divvy. No, hang on, I was going the right one. What the hell's going on here? Right, there we go. Ah, lo and behold. Yes. I should have known that, yes, because it's 55 days on from 9/11 is the 5th of November. Yeah, so 311 man, and the 5th of November, which is in, it's just everywhere. That number is just absolutely bloody everywhere. But super duper important, again, with this whole tie-in with that number jump. Do I leave it there? Let me show you something. You'll like this. Where is it? Oh, there's something there. Hang on a minute. So with the whole talk about Diana and the toilet paper with 3 seashells, dirty Diana, the corrupt Diana, guess who is playing? Note also the 184, which is pretty important with Pluto, with the release date of Dirty Diana by Michael Jackson. And notice who is playing on that? Steve Stevens, yeah, 7 sevens. Billy Idol's guitarist with the number 18 in his hands here, the 18 reference, and the 7/7 reference, which again ties us back to Shelley. Interesting, and Dirty Diana. Yes, that's another thing done off the list. What else we got in here? I want to find this. I've got another thing here with Donald Trump. Is it this one here? Yeah, there it is. Hang on, what's this? Okay. If we look at the other number jump that is in the dollar bill, or the other fold where Washington's head pops up out of the dam, he's reborn. Okay, this is really fascinating because Labor Day happened last year to fall on the 4th of September, and that was the year that the Hoover Dam and 9/11 came into balance with the 3-2-1-2-3 palindrome, the countdown and count back up, final countdown number. It just happened that September the 4th was Labor Day, right? The next Labor Day with September the 4th is 2028. Okay, which interestingly enough, if Donald Trump were to get back in, this would be towards the end. I would think tack on 4 years to this year. If he was to get in, wouldn't this be towards the end of his, presidency? So this would be kind of interesting as a potential date for the Hoover Dam as well. I don't know if I could wait another 4 years, but let me show you something with Donald Trump now and his numbers, right? So bear this in mind, right, for the Hoover Dam. Let's look at this. Donald Trump's birthday, right? Back to his actual birth year. 30,033 days, yeah? If that isn't a rebirth number, I don't know what is. And check it out. That's the date. Labor Day 2028. That is absolutely insane right there. And check out, this is the other thing that's insane about it. Check out this as well. Look at this. 82 years, 82 days. 82 years, 2 months, 21 days. The 221, the 122. The 122 is part of that number jump that gets us in the dollar bill to 94. So there's some absolutely insane stuff. Whether or not that actually predicts that actual day, or whether it predicts 9-4 this year, maybe, because he's really coming in now to, well, will be coming in roundabout now. I don't know. There's always these interesting number jumps, like I was just saying with the 321123, that palindrome there with the Hoover Dam and 9/11. It didn't kick off on that day. Nothing happened on that day, even though it ties those two dates together. An interesting, significant number tying two dates together. This is the way I look at it. So maybe this is just an interesting thing tying Donald Trump to this date, to the idea of resurrection, and to the idea of labor with Labor Day. Who the hell knows? I think I've done everything. I know I've forgotten a couple of things in here, sure of it, especially with the Dear Jesse stuff. I feel like I've forgotten something there. I'm going to leave it there because it's probably, God knows how long this video is. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully you're understanding the idea there with the 213. The next date, the mirror date in the dollar bill. This mirror date in the dollar bill over here, the 213. Follow the white rabbit, the bunny ears at each top side of this thing. So this date is mirroring this date. The fact that actually maybe this is the mirror, and so if you can see my cursor, so this is 9/11, and this actually becomes the actual mirror right here, reflecting, so that date of 213, which is a beginning and end date, again a beginning date. A beginning and end date is going to be a mirror, is the idea of the mirror, yeah. So this date, so this 9/11 over here, being mirrored here, and what we're seeing as the sort of finale of 9/11, well, we're seeing 187 with this idea, yeah, mirrored over here. So we're doing a 155-day jump. It's bouncing off the mirror over here, 155 days back, and what is really underneath the 9/11 is 187. You ought to see that Sade video with the Twin Towers in it, and it has the 187 in it. It's pretty cool. I might go back to that. There's just a ton of stuff with this 187 stuff in my back catalogue. But anyway, I think I'm going to leave it there. I think I've waffled enough. My voice is really croaking now. But again, yeah, 187, Red Rum, Murder, Death, Kill, and how that all ties in with Diana. And also remember, when you tie these two sides together again, we get the, this shield, when it overlaps with the O, we kind of get a letter D with an I in it. Yeah, with Lady Di, yeah, Lady Diana, Di, and DI 49. Okay, so not only does the dollar bill come over and join up with a DI, with the die, also 49 with Lady Di. Okay, and this idea of, yeah, I don't know what to say. 49. It's just thinking about how the story logically unfolds from here. If something is going to happen, do we have just a reference to Madonna dying, or do we have a reference to Trump somehow? I just don't know how it's gonna. I feel like we've got the characters that are involved. Now it just has to kind of play out somewhat. We'll see. Anyway, but I'm definitely eyes and ears open for. And I think, actually, I was just thinking, I wonder if Donald Trump did get completely JFK'd and I wonder whether they've kind of just, you know, I don't know, you know, with this whole thing with Baron coming in, it's kind of weird. As Jungle Surfer was saying, setting the stage for that guy coming in to be a president at some point as well. Yeesh. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Anyway, lots to ponder there. Okay, thanks for watching. God knows how long this is. Let's have a look. I'll see you later. Cheers. Oh, 125. All right, bye.